Okay. Hi.
Hello there. How's
So,
everybody?
so you did a marathon at Space Sunday. You was up there for like 7 hours. I peeped in and out, but so today I wanted to talk about because it's open mic, and I put in a jumbotron, not a jumbotron, but I put in the title Kamala Harris birthright citizenship because last week Tuesday sexy Rob brought it up, and I said, oh, that'd be a good discussion for this week. And then I also typed in Sonia Macy out of Illinois, the black woman that was shot in the head by the police officer. Tragedy. So, and then it's open mic if anybody want to come up and talk about those topics or anything else or whatever else is on your mind. Can somebody at Luther Campbell, because he had some words yesterday in his space. And, maybe he could clarify because if he has a problem with the judge or anybody else, he could pull up. So can somebody add him? um, so yeah. And you guys can request to come up. Everybody knows the drill. So anyway, Kamala Harris, she's running for president. She always wanted that. I put on YouTube, can she beat Trump at the polls? Judge.
Oh, I think not, but perhaps they don't consider it necessary for her to actually beat Trump at the polls because they plan on cheating. I think
How do you
that,
think they may cheat this time?
yeah, I think they're going to try. I know all of this back and forth from mainstream media about there was no cheating. I don't believe that. And we find that over the intervening 4 years, since 2020, we've got all of these state courts and local proceedings are showing that there was cheating, in fact, just as alleged. And I know over the last 50 years, I've certainly been exposed to enough cheats in elections. And political science wise, and as a historian, it seems that the number three most popular controversy in American history has been election cheating. I know that in Shelby County, where Memphis is located and where I live, we have had ongoing reports since 2000 that our voting machines, deballed voting machines, which turned out uh, to have been irredeemably corrupted, according to the Justice Department, and reports going back to 2006 weren't replaced until 2 years ago. So, and I know they are corrupt because I actually witnessed two people vote twice during the election. So it's during the last election. So it's out there. Now, I think on another political science analysis, Kamala Harris was chosen because she had deficits that kept her from being a real contributor or detriment, so to speak, to this past administration, with the exception of fulfilling a function as a harmless figurehead to appeal to the so called black female vote. Now, that very convenient fact is not good for her being president of the United States. And I know this has evoked some reaction today. I posted it on X, but I don't think a person is fully qualified to be president of the United States if they don't have any children. And she's barren. Now, I know we had, as somebody pointed out, George Washington, but George Washington doesn't have any legitimate children, as that is determined. But he did seem to have some by some slave women before he became sterile. And I am acquainted with at least one very high pale black family that since forever had been claiming ancestry through George Washington and a slave ancestor. So even he seems to have had a few, even if they weren't acknowledged.
Pardon me, Judge. Now a good time to ask a question?
Go right ahead.
How you doing, bro?
Wait, 1 second. 1 second.
Sure.
Can you just 1 second?
Uh-huh.
Can you just real quick elaborate? And actually, Stacks was up here first, so it's Stacks, Hotbox, and then you, Jonathan.
Yep.
So I like to let it go in order. But I just want to ask the judge: can you elaborate on why do you say that she? One of the reasons, there's many reasons, but one of the reasons because she doesn't have kids. Like, why is that? Why do you think that's an important?
Because
factor?
you don't have a sufficient stake in the future of the country to really have its interest at heart when you do what you do. If you're a young person and you die, say, in combat or in service of your country, that's one thing. If you are a middle-aged somebody, 60 years old, that's a whole different other thing. Why would you devote your full time and attention to those things that other people do because they have a legacy that they wish to leave to their children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, and any future progeny? Now, I know
That makes sense.
I just know, for example, they keep talking about youth, but we have people in positions that actually require maturity, and that means having paid mortgages, bills, gone to work when you were sick, tired, and didn't feel like it because you had obligations and responsibilities that you could not neglect. To have to cover the check on Monday or Tuesday that you had to write on Friday, that doesn't seem to be the case anymore since we don't write checks these days for the most part. To have horrible problems that you had to overcome and have the nervous anxiety and worry about your children, grandchildren, and such like, or even nieces and nephews. So it's a thing that comes from the territory of having experienced life. So I'd pass the mic after making that remark.
Yeah. No, well, as a mother and I'm a grandmother, that makes sense, especially when you're running for a high office such as the president, because you don't have a legacy to pass down this country to. So it's a different type of mindset set. And I don't think that's sexist. I think that's actually very logical. Just in case other people may find it. I think some women probably did find it sexist, but it's
Well, why
not.
would it be sexist for women? See, it's like
Well,
this. For example, you want to be a pilot, but you got a heart problem, or you have a visual acuity problem. You can't be a pilot because you have a physical a problem. You want to play pro basketball, but you're only 5'7" when you're 19 years old. You can't play pro basketball because you just don't have it. I mean, you might want to be a track star, but you can't run a 9 100-meter dash that you can work down from and keep up with Usain Bolt, or the 100-yard dash, let's say. So you got a problem. I ran a 600-yard dash when I was a youth, but the high school I went to, we had a runner who held the American record for the 100-yard dash of 9.2, and that was back in the 60s. There's no way in hell I was going to make a varsity track team with somebody like that. But I played football, got on the small side, but I could hit hard. So you do what
well,
you
I
have to
wasn't it.
do.
Yeah, the way you're explaining it, because there's no requirement that you have to have a kid to be president.
No.
It's more. It more goes to your mindset on how you see America's future. And if you are a parent, you have that mindset automatically because you have a legacy to pass down. Just like, because that does apply for a man, because you've never seen a single man, a man who is president and he's single, go to that Oval Office.
Yeah,
They
well,
marry with kids.
you have had a few presidents, George Washington, who had no legitimate children.
He was married though.
Yeah, he was married, but he had no legitimate children. You also had a couple who were not married and had, believe it or not, their nieces acting as first ladies. So that's not to say that there aren't exceptions. And I'm talking more of an idealized situation and in terms of the instant qualifications for at least one of the potential candidates for the office. And we do have, since they've been entirely masculine in the history of the country for 235 years, some presidents who don't have apparent children, but just about all of them had some illegitimate children one way or the other. For example, Lyndon Baines Johnson had children, and I met two of them. One of them was by a woman named Marie Brown, no relationship. She introduced me to her son she had with LBJ in 1965, and also to another young man born in 1966. Both of them look like spitting images of LBJ, except the one born in 66 was allegedly born to a White House secretary, and he had a very, very, very slight suntan. Let's put it that way. But they look just like him. Tall guys, big ears.
Hi. I'm gonna go to Stacks, Hot Boy, and Jonathan. And anybody else want to request to come up, please do so. Go ahead, Stacks.
Oh, I'll probably just let Hot Boy, whatever his name is. I'm sorry, I can't see the whole thing. Go, but I appreciate you, Dana. Like you was like he was here for. I like that. I appreciate it. Can I wait a little bit to comment?
Sure, I'll come back to you.
Yes, ma'am.